let's talk about our top 12 teams. Give them to me in order from 1 to 12
Yeah.
college football playoff teams.
So again, for those of you who don't know the switch up this year, there's no longer the top four conference champions get the bye. It's just the five highest conference champions will get in, but their seeding will be based on what the actual final rankings are. So this is going to be
Yes.
different than last year. But my number one overall seed, if you pay attention, you know Penn State number one overall seed. I've got Alabama number two. I've got Oregon number three. This is kind of probably one of my bolder ones. Uh, I've got Texas at number four, Notre Dame at number five. I think Notre Dame will be number five on there. Six, I've got Clemson. Seven, Ohio State. Eight, I have Georgia. Nine, I've got Arizona State. 10, I've got LSU. 11, this is my bold one. I've got Oklahoma making the playoff and my 11 seed. And then the 12th one, the group of five champion. You're going to find out about Dan Mullen's team quick. I got UNLV taking that group of five spot in the playoff. That's my top 12. What about you?
At number one, I've got Penn State. I think that's just a
Yeah.
foregone number one team for this podcast, and that stands true. At number two, I've got Texas. At number three, I've got Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame plays a great schedule. I think it's a schedule they can win. I think it's a schedule they can go undefeated in. I think they're that capable. I think if they do, they're going to find themselves up here in the top four. At number four, I've got Georgia. At number five, I've got Oregon. At number six, I've got Iowa State. Number seven, I've got Pitt. Number eight, I've got OU, Oklahoma Sooners. At number nine, I've got Kansas State. At 10, I have Ohio State. At 11, I've got South Carolina. And at
Ooh.
12, my group of five. This was a toss up for me. And I went and I looked at schedules, I looked at conferences. And to me, I think these two teams play very similar schedules with very similar difficulty. I think it's schedules that they can both truly go undefeated in.
Yeah.
Um, and so then that just came down to which conference I thought was better. I think that would be my logical next step is who played the tougher conference. And I think that the American Conference is
Yeah.
better than the Mountain West Conference coming into the season. And so for that reason, I took Memphis here as a team that I've got coming into the college football playoff at the 12 seed. So now that means we got to pick our games. So lay it on me. Your 5 versus 12, which are teams that I don't remember because I just read my teams and now I'm confused. But your 5 versus 12 game, who do you got?
So five versus 12, it'd be a unique one. It would be Notre Dame versus UNLV. How about that for a unique matchup, ladies and gentlemen? Now,
Yeah.
listen, I think UNLV will be a good team. They're not going to beat Notre Dame. I'll just flat out say that. I got Notre Dame winning that game. What about your five versus 12?
5 versus 12, I've got Oregon versus Memphis. And
That's
again, I think
interesting.
Memphis is going to have a great season. And I think it'll be a celebration to have made the college football playoff. But I think in this one, I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks to go ahead and defend their home field and move on to the next round.
Absolutely. So which
That
one do you
takes
want to
us
go to
to,
next?
I think if I'm going just in bracket order now, I just have this all typed into a document, so I don't remember exactly. But I think it's 8-9 is the next
Yeah.
game if you're just going straight down.
Yeah. So my 8-9 is probably the most it's the matchup of two of the most fiery coaches. I've got Georgia versus Arizona State. How about that coaching matchup with those two? There
There you
might
go.
not be a redder face in the country than those two coaches on that day in Georgia. Um, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give the edge to Georgia since I have them as the home team in that case, because let's remember these are home games that are going to be for round one of the playoffs. So I'm going to give the edge to Georgia. I would not be shocked if Arizona State won, but I'm going to give the edge to Georgia.
Yeah, my 8-9 is Oklahoma versus Kansas State, a little throwback to the Big
Ooh, that's
12.
fun.
And I think in this game, Oklahoma reminds Kansas State that they didn't leave the Big 12 because they were bad. They left it because they saw, greener pastures. And I think Oklahoma wins this game against Kansas State, moving on to the next round, which takes us to 6 versus 11. Is that right?
Yes. So mine, I've got Clemson versus Oklahoma. And this is where I think playing in the ACC, a conference where I really don't think it's even close to the same talent level as a whole as the SEC. So give me Oklahoma to go in and upset Clemson, and truly my really only upset in round one. I've got Oklahoma upsetting Clemson.
Oklahoma upsets Clemson. You like to see that. So with Oklahoma upsetting Clemson, I've got Iowa State facing South Carolina.
Wow.
I think this would be a great game, fun football to watch. I'm going to take the South Carolina Gamecocks to win that game and move on to the next round.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
And this should be our final round one game, which is 7
Se-
versus 10.
Yeah, this is easily the one that if it like were to happen in mine, college game, they'd be like, yeah, boom, we're there. Ohio State versus LSU would be my 7 versus 10. College game, they'd be there in a heartbeat. Ain't no doubt in my mind. But I got Ohio State winning just because I think at this point in the year, similar to that home field advantage, I was tempted to pick LSU, but it's just still a small hesitation in me. So I'm going to pick Ohio State to at least get out of there with their home win.
Man, I've got Ohio State versus Pitt
Oh,
at Pitt.
wow.
And so I'm
Hail
going
the
to take the
pit.
Pitt, I'm going to take the Pitt Panthers to defend home field as the 7th seed and beat Ohio State and move on to the next round.
I like it. All right, cool. I like it.
So take us to the next round at the top. I don't even know the seeds anymore. I'm just kind of flying.
Do you want me just to go through the rest of the round? Like just go through the
Yeah,
round?
just go ahead and give us the rest of your bracket here.
Okay, so Georgia, number one, Penn State versus number 8, Georgia in the quarterfinal matchup. What a matchup that would be. Um, guess what? In a realistic brain of mine, I'd pick Georgia. Guess what? It's not that. So I got Penn State winning that one. This is a fun 4 versus 5 matchup. Texas versus Notre Dame is a fun one. I'm going to give the edge to Texas solely because of the quarterback question with Notre Dame. That's my only reason. Besides that, I think they're perfectly matched up with each other. But the quarterback, I'm going to give the edge to Texas. How about this one? I got number 3 Oregon versus number 6 or number 11 Oklahoma. And this is where I think Dante Morgan's the really good game here. So I'm going to pick Oregon to beat Oklahoma. And then I've got 7 seed Ohio State versus 2 seed Alabama. This is where Matt Patricia being your DC comes back to haunt you, Ohio State. I got Alabama winning this one, which makes my final 4 matchups Penn State versus Texas and Alabama versus Oregon.
So my 4 versus 5, I've got Oregon versus Georgia. I'm taking 5 seed Oregon to beat Georgia here. I think it'd be a close game, but a phenomenal game that I really would like to see this new look Oregon offense take over and Dante Moore have a big game. Then I've got Penn State versus Oklahoma, and I'm of course going with the Penn State Nittany Lions to win this game. It'd be a heck of a game to watch. 2 great offenses going at
Yeah.
it, but I'm going to take Penn State. Then I've got number 3 Notre Dame versus number 11 South Carolina, and a little bit of bias here, but I'm going to take the Irish in their defense to take advantage of a young Lenore Sellers and get the job done. And then Texas versus Pitt. This is where I think Texas runs wild and stomps Pitt and moves on to that semifinal game.
All right.
So that gives me Notre Dame, Texas, and Penn State, Oregon in the conference finals
Oh,
or
wow.
the semifinals.
Yeah. My final 4, I got Penn State versus Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, if I've got Penn State going this far, do you really think I would stop at this point? Penn State makes the national championship. Alabama versus Oregon's a very intriguing game. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with the more experienced defense in the game. I'm going to give it to Alabama. So, my national championship, Penn State versus Alabama. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you really, really even have to think about who I'm picking for this, you've missed the entire episode. We are Penn State. James Franklin wins his national championship, and the Penn State fans can finally shut up about, can we fire him? So we can shut up about it. Penn State wins the Natty. Perfect. I don't care what anyone says.
So we start with Notre Dame, Texas. And look, kind of what you were talking about earlier with Notre Dame and Texas. I think this is where Notre Dame meets their match. Facing off against a great Texas team. I think the SEC champs win it, move on to the national championship, and then Oregon, Penn State. Unlike last year, I think if we get a Big Ten championship rematch, Penn State wins it. They move on to the national championship, and you already knew this was going to happen. Why did you even click on the video? You should have known from the very beginning what this was going to be. I have Penn State over the Texas Longhorns. We are Penn State. They are the national champions. Go ahead, write it down. Penn State and Indy Lions are going to win it all. It's all pointless, everything we do this year. Penn State will win the national championship.
Yes. And if they do, we will buy merch probably for their national championship. I will buy it. I'll just be honest with you. Yeah. That'll probably be my Christmas gift to you. Like a late Christmas gift at the end of January or February. Like, I got you a Penn State national championship shirt.
Need it. That's gonna have to be what happens because I just don't know what else to do.